Sorry about that. Got a phone call. I'll try to label the first video part 1 and this part 2, and hopefully I don't get interrupted again and can make this all the way through. All right, so Madison did not want a pure democracy. He wanted a republic where the decisions are made through representatives of the people. Imagine if you, as a citizen of the United States, had to go and vote every single time a new post office was built, a building needed to be, had a name change, any sort of anything, you would have to go and vote. That's probably not the best use of your time, right? So we elect people to make these decisions for us. So they are representatives of us as citizens, but this is a republic. This is not a pure democracy that we have. Madison thought this would be safer than direct democracy, honestly, because he thought that the people representing us would be older and wealthier and wiser and could make more rational decisions. It ended up working out, but his reasoning, maybe not the best. Today, there are two competing narratives about what citizen should mean in the United States. Individualistic citizenship, a view of citizenship that's focused on action to realize an individual citizen's interests, and then, as Madison stated, too much democracy can be bad. And then collective citizenship, a view of citizenship that is focused on action to realize the common good. This puts faith in a citizen's ability to act virtuously for the common good. You know, JFK said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. This collective citizenship mentality often comes about in times of tragedy, like 9/11. How do you engage? How do you engage? A lot of folks got really involved after 9/11, and maybe we're living in another time of it right now. It's a crazy world, as we all know. So what can we be doing for our country? You see a lot of what is called hashtag activism, a form of political engagement that occurs by organizing individuals online around a particular issue. This is a great way for ordinary people to really accomplish extraordinary things. This helps determine and shape political narratives. That ended up being a little quicker than I thought the second time. I'm sorry, that video was shorter. I wish I had gotten through it without that phone call. Anyway, if I had uploaded this lecture last night, I would have asked you guys to do another little activity for me, but because I'm getting this out late, I just want you to think about this. You don't have to submit anything to me. That's going to be my surprises for you guys. You never know if you get to the ends of my lectures, if I'm going to ask you to complete an activity or not. So to this lecture, I'm not going to make you submit anything to me, but I want you to think about this because this is important to remember throughout the class. If you were forming your own country, if you were one of our founders and you had this great new nation and you were forming it yourself, you'd have some decisions to make about what you wanted to do. How would you form it? What type of government would you form? Would you have a parliament like they have in Great Britain, where you maybe have a king, but you also have representatives? You kind of have a mixture of both. Would you have a democracy like we have here, where you elect your leaders? Would you have a monarch? Would you just have a king? Would you have a committee of rulers where you could kind of do whatever? What kind of economics would you have in place? Would you have a capitalist economy, a laissez-faire kind of hands-off economy, regulated capitalism, socialist economy, or a social democracy? Think about it. I'm honestly, would love to hear from you guys if you want to let me know what you're interested in, but you don't have to let me know because I didn't get this out as early as I wanted. Life is crazy. And then what kind of political system would you have? Would you have an authoritarian, I told you guys I couldn't say that, authoritarian government, a totalitarian government, an authoritarian capitalism? Would you have anarchy? Would you have a democracy? It was a lot of decisions that our forefathers had to make when they were setting up a new government. And we're going to get into some of that next class where we talk about some of the decisions that they made and some of the things that they had to think about when they were forming a new nation. If you were forming a new nation, though, how would you do it? What are things you'd think about? What are things you'd consider? Again, you don't have to email me, but think about it. Think about what's important to you, how you would set up a government if you were setting up a government today. Would it look exactly like the United States, or would it look different? Would it look more like some other countries? Or would it be something that hasn't been invented yet? Honestly, I think our forefathers were pretty smart. Like, they thought of things that it surprises me sometimes how they knew to think about some things. We'll get into more of this later on this semester, but I hope you guys are excited about this class. It's really fun to be thinking about these things, especially in election year right now, and especially in the current political environment that we're in right now. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot that I want you guys to have your ears out for during campaign season, during the world, just in the world that we're living in right now. And that's all that I've got for you today. I'm trying to keep it short and light this week because I'm not sure if you guys all have your textbooks yet. You should all have them by next week. If you do not have your books by next week, let me know, because we're going to go ahead and start heading into our textbooks starting next week. Keep following along with your syllabus. I've kept us on track. I got this one out late today, but I should have another lecture uploaded by Sunday night or Monday morning, even though it's Labor Day. Hopefully soon. I don't know if you guys have class on Monday, but I'm going to try to get it out next week. And let's see, did I have... Yes, and then next week, we'll have 2 lectures next week as well. So I'll send out 2 videos next week as well. And then the following week, we'll just have just 1 lecture. So if you look on your syllabus, you can tell like if I'm going to send out 1 lecture or 2, usually by if I've got kind of 2 chapters listed. Some of you guys have asked about chapters, by the way. You guys are all using different versions of the same textbook, and I think that's just because the schools have different versions of the book, and that's fine. It all is basically the same thing, but it's the chapter numbers are a little bit off. So pay attention to what the title of that week is and see what matches up in your textbook with it. Because for some of you, that's chapter 1. For some of you, chapter 1 is like chapter 1 and 2. And so anyway, just make sure that, you kind of are following along with the syllabus. I think that's all I've got for you guys today. Keep in mind if you were forming a government, how you would form it. You don't have to email me, but just keep it in mind. And I look forward to chatting with you guys next week. Bye.